This week's rant is on vegans. Now, I know there's a difference between vegans and vegetarians and everything else like that, but for the sake of this rant, everybody's a vegan. Now, I could start off with the old joke of, or the hypothetical of, do vegetarians eat animal crackers? I prefer a different take on it. Do vegans swallow? Now, there's the question. Vegetarians. It's annoying because if you think about it, it's kind of like it's their own religion. They try to force their beliefs upon you, and if you don't side with them, you're going to hell, and you get a pamphlet when you become a vegan and everything else like that, and it's to an extent it's a religion. I will talk about religions in some rant in the future. I don't know how far, but we'll talk about religions later. But it's similar right there. First and foremost, I don't believe in vegans. I don't think that their views are right because, first of all, if we're not supposed to eat animals, why do I have such sharp teeth? I mean, I have teeth that are for cutting and tearing and more than what I would need to do on a stalk of celery. And they're just not being put to use. I mean, if I'm not supposed to eat animals, then we need to do something else about my teeth. All my teeth should look closer to molars. Also, if you look in most dictionaries, it will say humans are omnivores. Another thing. We do need protein to survive. Good source of protein is meat, period. And there's these extremists that don't even eat fish or chicken or anything else like that. If it's a living animal, they don't eat it. So I'm sorry, but I'm not too nutty about peanuts all the time. Everybody's like, well, you get a good source of protein from peanuts. Good. I like peanut and peanut butter as much as the next person, but I can't do that on a regular basis, not in the amount that we actually need to survive. That's why whenever you see vegans, they're always so they just look so unhealthy. Now, granted, those of us that are meat eaters, especially the red meat eaters, yeah, we probably eat too much, but at least we don't have to worry about, being susceptible to a candid illness. I mean, we're not going to have our asses kicked by pneumonia or anything else like that because we got a good system going on. Granted, they don't have to worry about, heart attacks and strokes and whatever else, but I'll take that over having to worry about any little illness that comes my way. I really have a hard time with people who don't eat anything from any animals. They don't drink milk or eat cheese. These cows, ask any farmer, these cows need to be milked. And what are you going to do, just throw the milk away? The milk is there, their young have grown and they still produce milk. What are you going to do with the milk if we don't use it? And as far as the eggs are concerned, why don't you eat eggs? I mean, we more or less control whether or not the eggs are fertilized or not. It's not like we are killing. It's an egg that never had life in it to begin with. And granted, we could have all of the eggs that are laid fertilized, but then now we have an overpopulation of chickens and turkeys and whatever, ducks and whatever else eggs we eat, ostrich. And do you really need a nice avian overflow? No. So at least eat the eggs and the milk and whatever else. I love how a lot of people do not say that fish is meat. I mean, the Catholics eat fish on Fridays in Lent because it's not meat. Still flesh. Okay. I can understand, going back to religion, I can understand the Jews not eating pigs because it's what the Jews believe, and I can also understand Buddhists not eating cows because cows are sacred and things like that. I can go along with that, but they still eat anything else. That's another point. A lot of the vegans have come at me and said that these are living creatures, these are living beings, these things are alive. So is vegetables. When you when you pluck an apple from a tree, you're technically killing the apple itself. Now, if you want to wait around for the apple to fall and it dies on its own, then okay. But I mean, when you pull grapes from a vine and everything else like that, you're killing the grapes. You are killing because vegetation is still alive. That's the difference between vegetation and minerals, is it's alive. So if you really want to come at me about living beings, trees are still alive, vegetables are still alive, fruits are still alive, all of that stuff is still alive. The flowers that you have in your hair was alive. Unless you wait around for that flower to be uprooted some other way, some natural way, it's still alive. And if it's okay for other animals to kill other animals, which you see on the Discovery Channel all the time, why is it such a sin for humans to do the same thing? The only difference is we use a stove when we cook our foods. I don't know why people and how they can get so high and mighty over this. I really don't see how they have a leg to stand on. Now, in all fairness, I did date a girl who was a partial vegan. She would not touch beef. And she was the only quote-unquote vegetarian that didn't bother me. And that's because, as she put it, she just didn't like the taste of beef. And she says that she will eat it once in a great while, but it has to be, like, extremely well done or burnt. And I'm like, okay. I'll go along with that. She ate everything else. She ate pork, she ate chicken, fish, everything else. I'll go along with that. You don't like the taste. That makes sense to me. That's a good answer. But cruelty to animals. What about cruelty to the lettuce that you had? I mean, they slaughtered it. Give me something. I know that was bad, but give me something. And I'm also sick and tired of these people that are trying to make me eat healthy in a fast food joint and I have to have a salad. No, let me clog my arteries. I think we might have talked about that once before, but let me clog my arteries, thank you. If I go to Burger World, I want grease. Or maybe chicken, which isn't necessarily grease. I don't want a salad. If I want a salad, I'll go to a restaurant that... See, it shows you how much I actually eat salad. I can't even think of a place right off the top of my head. I'll go to like a sub joint if I want to eat healthy, if I want to eat fresh. I'll go to a sub joint. I want to clog my arteries. That's why I go to Burger World. Thank you. So eat meat. Meat is good for you. Meat makes the world go round. Meat is good for your heart. And actually, I support the whole thought of cannibalism. I mean, it's natural selection. I mean, everybody's being fed, and you also control the overpopulation issue. And as a final food for thought, if you have a paraplegic in a group of cannibals, is that Meal on Wheels? Bye-bye.